Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her
Testing
love
1, 2.
language,
Can you guys
and
hear
she
me?
really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
No.
Can you hear me over the
Nope.
phone?
Come on,
DVP?
him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure.
$1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Time to call a credit repair company to fix my credit.
Hold the phone, man. You can do it yourself with Credit Versio.
That's way too hard. Call the credit repair company. Most credit repair companies only work on 1 or 2 accounts at a time, making it slow and expensive. You won't figure that out for months. Ignore him. Credit Versio's brilliant software scans all 3 credit bureaus, finds the accounts that are hurting your score, and guides you through the entire process. Anyone can do it. Let's fast forward and see the results. Wow, I fixed my own credit and saved hundreds. You can do this. Visit creditversio.com.
When you're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
One bite of 100% Angus beef ballpark frank, and you'll say, hello, summer. Oh yeah, it's ballpark season.
Let's get back.
Whammer. Which one is which? What's up? What's up? What's up? I be forgetting which camera I'm on. What's happening, fam? Today is the 18th of January, 2023. I got a special guest on here. We're gonna start some stuff. So, in preparation for my special guest, I'm gonna look the part. I'm gonna put on my intelligence specs today, cause y'all gonna meet Mr. Brown in a few. Mr. Brown, we're gonna push some envelopes, cause there's some stuff I agree with Mr. Brown on, and some stuff we're gonna fight about. But as we start off with my monologue, and I want to wish all y'all a happy day, and I hope y'all having a great new year. I see my friend Crystal is in Colorado saying they got 18 inches of snow. Whew, that's why I stay in the South. That is why I stay in the South. Anytime snow is old enough to vote, if it's high enough, I can't, that's too much. All right, so here we go. You know, social media can be a great thing. Like TV can be a great thing if you use it appropriately. And I tell people a lot of times, most of my guests I have never met. I have never met Mr. Brown. I read some of his posts. He tried to get me in trouble on my page, but that's a whole different story. We're gonna say that for the closing. And even my super duper dope producer, I have never met this woman. She giving me hell, but y'all know I like a spunky woman. So she coming with stuff. This is how you can use social media. And this is how you can meet people that you normally wouldn't meet, and you can expand your horizons. You can learn more because you're outside of your box. You don't have people who know you that say things because you know them and you know their people, and they're trying to be friends with you. People on social media, if you use it accordingly, a lot of them are the wealth of information, and they know things that you don't. And it's not about who's the smartest. It's just about who's smart and can share stuff with you that you never thought about. And the same thing is with TV. You know, it's crazy. I was reading some posts and people like, I don't trust nothing I see on mainstream media. And it came about over something simple as death. People die. It's happened. It ain't stopped since the beginning of time. And people want to argue about how people die. And I remember having this argument right at the beginning of COVID. I had some friends who died of COVID. I had a relative who died of, wasn't natural causes, but it wasn't COVID. Nobody trusts nobody. If it's a COVID death, everybody got a conspiracy theory. If it ain't a COVID death, then they want to make it a COVID death. And I did a show where I had my insurance reps on here to tell people, you know, what insurance will cover. What does it say about if you catch COVID, if you get the shot, if you don't get it, so we can speak from a point of intelligence versus feelings. Because when you're in your feelings, you don't necessarily speak factually. You speak on what you think is right. And it's kind of like the law. Nobody cares what you think. This is what's written. Like it or not, this is it until you change it. So you can use social media. You can watch TV, and everybody say they love reality shows, but they don't watch the ID channel. They don't watch Nat Geo. Real something of something is not reality TV. Real Wives of this, Real Basketball Wives, Real Love and Hip Hop. None of those are real. When you go to the grocery store, you ever seen a thing that says real apples? Because you know that they're apples. They don't have to put that in there to make you think it is when you know it's really not. And, you know, my background being aside, I don't know if you guys ever watched like paternity court, divorce court, or any of them. And I knew people who thought that those were real. And I was like, do you ever notice when they doing the intros in the beginning, they'll put their little Facebook name up or their Instagram tag? Why would they do that in court? And if it's a paternity court, all you need is for me to say, I don't think it's my child, or I do think it's my child, and I'm gonna use Melly because she's my girl and she's on the thing. If she says it's mine, she signs the paper, we get a paternity test, and that's it. Nobody cares how we met. Nobody cares how the sex took place. Why don't I think it's mine, or why do I think it's mine? It's a 3-minute process. We sign some paperwork, we go get the DNA test, we come back, the judge says you is pay, you ain't. You know, however, it's amazing to me how people get reality confused because of fake shows. How people get reality confused because somebody posted it on Facebook. How people will post misinformation and blame Facebook for saying, oh yeah, they blocked me because they don't want my truth. What is your truth based on? Is it based on how you feel? It's based on what? I mean, there are certain truths, and I did a show, and I'm gonna do another show. I'm gonna probably have a Cliff because I like Cliff, and we're gonna see if Melody can come on in and do her thing. There is the truth, your truth, and my truth. All of them are true, but the truth is the only truth that's consistent across people. See, my truth is my mom is the greatest mom in the world. Cliff's truth is his mom is the greatest mom in the world. Mel's truth is her mom is the greatest mom in the world. All of us are telling something from our perspective that is our truth. But that's a subjective truth. And people don't seem to get the difference between objectivity and subjectivity. I know what I know. I seen this, I seen that. And if you ask them something as simple as, can you post a link? Can you tell me where you got it from? You can look it up yourself. Well, hell, I don't look it up, but I can't find it. So when we're having these intelligent debates that don't involve name calling, that don't involve battle of the sexes, that don't involve simping or who gets a black card taken by somebody who's not authorized to even give out black cards. Let's talk about what's real and let's bridge some of these gaps. Because at the end of the day, we all need each other. Men need women. Blacks need whites. White needs black. We need everybody to make this whole big thing work. Being isolated don't work. It doesn't work because when you're isolated, like the people in the Amazon, everybody keep trying to get into your shit. So if we can stop this, if we can stop with the I just want to win at all costs, I don't care what bridge I burn, I don't care whose feelings I hurt. Yeah, we can start off with being a better people. When we let go of this battle of the sexes, when we let go of certain things, if it don't affect your income, if it don't affect your lifestyle, if it doesn't affect your state of being, let it ride. And if it affects you, speak on that. And then find legitimate legal ways to come up with a remedy. Part of the show that we've always done and we're going to continue to do, if we give out problems, we got to come up with solutions. Anybody can bitch about a problem. The trick is finding solutions for that problem. So then you can start moving forward. Other than that, you're just in a rut where you become complacent and you are selfish because you know the answer. As long as you don't have one, I can't fix this, but I can keep complaining about it. So you're in a state of denial because why are you complaining about something that you can't fix? Either get over it or find a fix to it. So that's all I want to start off with to let y'all know. In 2023, stop complaining about things that you have no intention of trying to fix, that you have no idea of how to fix. Either ask people how to fix it or get over yourself. I mean, life is usually that simple. So we're gonna got that out the way. Crystal, I do want to know. I just don't know about 18 inches. I need for it to be just a little bit lower, just in case. I was watching a movie with people getting stuck in snowdrifts and stuff. I don't want to die freezing to death. You know what I'm saying? I'm a punk. I can handle heat. I can't handle 18 inches of snow over my head and people looking for me. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a first break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna bring Mel in, and we're gonna bring Cliff in, and we're gonna talk about a couple of his posts that got my attention. All right, so we'll be right back, y'all. Maybe. Okay. Mel, where you at? You don't do snow. All right. So, well, we're gonna wait for Mel and tell me she's ready to take a break. One of the first things we're gonna talk about with Cliff is the roles of how we raising boys and girls and how they should interact with each other, and then we will go from there and see what we can do. Let me type a quick message right quick. Because I found his post to be, I liked it. But there were some things, y'all know how I am, that I didn't agree with. But there's some things I did agree with. So that's what we're gonna do when we come back. So we ready to take a break, Mel? All right, we'll be right back.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
I miss all my friends in school.
Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccine.
I'm attorney Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being heard.
HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
All right, we back. And before I forget, let me give 2 quick shout outs. The guy that created my video, Mesh Pro Media, I just want to say thank you. And I had a friend who created my soundtrack. We're gonna just call him DJ Hobo because he ain't got his own name yet. So because of his name, he's just gonna be DJ Hobo. But I want to introduce my main guest tonight. That's Mr. Cliff Brown. And like I said, I have never met this man other than social media, but he made some posts and I like it, so I reached out to him. 1, because he tried to cause me to get a divorce. 2, because he was saying some good stuff outside of trying to get me to get a divorce. So Cliff, tell the people who you are, and just give them a quick introduction of yourself.
Man, I'm Cliff Brown. First of all, it's an honor to be here. I love your show. I watched your show before. I love your different perspective on things. I too agree that Facebook could be good and bad. I think that, man, people take comments that we make and they act like we writing scriptures or laws or statutes, and a lot of times this is exactly what your show is called. It's just random thoughts. It's stuff that we putting out there that we thinking about. It may be on our minds. So for me, social media has always been about that. Try to put stuff out there that could possibly help people think things differently. But I know when I post something, I don't have all the answers. I'm not the smartest person on earth, so I post what I'm thinking, and the hope is there's a dialogue. And out of that dialogue, if I'm wrong, I'm corrected, or if there's a different opinion, we get them out there, and then people can grow from it. I never put stuff out there thinking that, I got the absolute answer to everything. That's just not the way I operate.
And you said a mouthful there, and I think what a lot of people don't get is they take everything personal. And one of the things I like when I was reading yours is one of the things we'd like to talk about on here is I like having uncomfortable conversations because that's the only way we'll ever get anywhere. Everybody want to talk around subjects that we kind of know all the answers to, but they don't want to talk about some of the real stuff that we need to get into. We don't want to talk we don't want to talk about finances. We don't want to talk about credit. We don't want to talk about our true expectations. Everybody just say, oh, I want to be happy and yada, yada, yada. But what does happy look like? Because we never put a definition to it. And Cliff's definition of happy may not be my definition of happy. So we can't keep saying crazy things and thinking that people understand what we mean when we don't speak it. But we're so conditioned not to want us have the true uncomfortable conversations, because that's just what we are. So with that being said, y'all got Cliff here, so if y'all don't understand something, we're going to hit it up. One of Cliff's posts, December the 29th. The truth is, that's how you like to start here, is how I say random thoughts. Cliff say, the truth is, some men actively seek women they can live off of. They are comfortable living with you and not paying bills, even as you struggle to pay bills. They are comfortable with having no job and watching you go to work or dropping you off at work in the car you struggle to pay for. They are comfortable doing nothing all day while you work hard to keep a roof over their head, food in their mouths, and possibly clothes on their back. This behavior, I'm putting this in, ladies, is not typical of real men. This behavior does not just happen. It is in many cases created, fostered, and supported by a parent or parents who fail to hold them accountable as young men. There is nothing you as a woman can do to make a lazy, trifling, spoiled, and entitled man change this behavior. You cannot love them out of it. You cannot scream loud enough. You cannot cry enough. You cannot beg enough. The best thing you can do is to decide you deserve better and get this man out of your life. That spoke volumes to me. That spoke volumes to me. Cliff, tell me what was on your mind when you wrote that.
You know, I got kids, man. A lot of times I do a lot of mentoring with young folks, and we're talking, and a lot of times it's just me and my wife is talking. And the thing that made me write that is really, there are a lot of women that accept that. There are a lot of hard-working women of all colors that are out here, you know, working 8 hours in college, raising their kids. They're doing all these great things to pull themselves up. And the thing that's holding them back is this lazy, trifling, really boy that doesn't want to do for himself. But in the name of love, in the name of good sex or whatever it may be, they've decided to allow themselves to become the mother to this child, essentially. And so for me, that message really was for young women, or even, let's be clear, there's some women probably in their 50s living in that situation. You know, and I think for me, that message was really about saying, sisters, y'all ain't got to settle for that. He heard you screaming. He heard you crying. He heard you complaining. He heard you begging. He's not going to change. He is what he is. And there are men that literally seek women out they can live off of. We all know. You know what I mean? Some of our some cousins, some friends, some might be relatives, but we all know them type of guys that do that to women. And so my hope with that post is it was maybe some women would wake up and be like, you know what? I ain't got to tolerate this. I can, you know, I don't have to take care of grown men.
And I found it so prophetic, because this is one of the things that, and I'm gonna get more into the exact thing, but this is one of those things that, to me, at the end of the day, it's not even about men so much as about us in general, but men more so, because, fellas, y'all know I hold y'all to a higher standard. We want to be kings. We want to be submitted to. We want all this other good shit. So I will demand more out of you, because I have yet to meet a woman who said, submit to me. I have yet to meet a woman who said, do you ever just shut up and think I'm right? So as we demand more, we have to put up more. But this Captain Saberhole cape is non-discriminate. It works for men and women. And there are women who do this because, and it sucks because, as Cliff was saying, there are dudes who seek these women out because nurturing is just who they are. And they haven't yet mastered the art of discernment. And they meet a guy and they've been tricked into thinking they should help you. And I've said this 1,000 times. Yes, ladies, I'm all for you helping a man. Helping. Understand what helping means. Helping means he's already doing something. You are helping him to elevate. If he at the bottom of the ground, you can't help him because he already on the ground. Let him get up first. You know, I'm a staunch believer in to thine own self be true. Cliff, personal question. How old are you, sir?
57.
Okay, so me and Cliff, we both 57. At 57 years old, and I'm going to use male because she can speak over the top, there's no reason that a woman should get with us and we are still struggling to get to where we are. If we don't have something, why even come into our world? And understand me, dudes, if it's all about sex, let them know that. Don't set the bar for something else. But if we're trying to elevate to our true self, ladies, all we need is a gentle nudge. If you find yourself pushing us like you Atlas with the weight of the world on your shoulders, you working way too hard. Because I'm a firm believer of most grown-ass men who got business about themselves will not date while they're having financial problems because they are not comfortable within themselves. So they don't want nobody around them like that. That's not to say that they won't have one-night stands or have sex every now and then. And if it's about sex, let it be about sex. Ladies, if you like him and you're cute and you want to give him some, that's fine. Just don't do all the rest of the stuff if he ain't earned that right. And it seems like some of us are too busy. Some ladies, y'all are too busy trying to push a man to a point that he don't want to be at. He becomes comfortable. He's driving your car that you having a hard time paying for. He dropping you off at work while he go back home and look through the classifieds. That is kind of insane to me. And you know, when he made the post, I was just like, damn. Because I hear women saying, well, I'm doing this, but he ain't doing nothing. So how long are you going to keep doing it? How long are you going to keep doing it? I mean, what's your end game? He ain't paying no bills. You working overtime to help feed him because he eats a lot, even though he ain't doing shit. So I can't even figure out why he hungry. And, you know, I'm sure you've seen the meme that says, don't no man love a woman better than a man who ain't got a place to stay. And I believe it may be true. But ladies, you can't live off love alone. The power company want more than that. You can't say, hey, I had an orgasm last night. Can I not pay my bill this month? And when Cliff wrote that, I was like, damn, you know, I'm sure he probably got his, he probably, I don't know if he got like me, where guys come in and shoot him to me, man, why you hating on dudes? Why you hating? I ain't hating. You just got to let women know it's something better out there. And if that's what you into, that's what you into. Go ahead. You said you had some, Cliff?
Look, man. First of all, I'm equal opportunity. I go at men and women the same way. I talk about what I talk about, and it's not directed at nobody. I agree with you. If men want to be the king, we want to be the king of the castle. That comes with some responsibility. The thing I try to tell women is, let's say you got a guy making $12,000 a year. That's it. If that man comes in your life, he should make your life better, because that's $1,000 a month you ain't got to worry about. Now, he giving you that $1,000 and he taking the trash out and he making sure your car fixed and he making sure you protect it. So I'm saying the income alone ain't the end. What is that man bringing to the table? And if you have to go to work and slave and come home and this lazy dude is on your couch, sometime picking you up late from your job in your car that you pay for, he's not bringing any value to your life. And I don't care how good a woman may think. And let me say this, the most dangerous thing in the world is sex before marriage. A whole different conversation. Because if all of us are honest, if we got rid of out of our lives, a whole lot would disappear. If that was gone, a lot of drama would be gone out of our lives. But he's doing all that and he's not bringing anything, and your sex ain't gonna make that brother change. You can't. You're not good enough to make him change. He is what he is, and if you allow it, think about it. What man? Most men that's even remotely close to being trifling gonna take that offer. I ain't gotta work. I ain't gotta do nothing. All I gotta do is lay home, eat your food, live in your house, watch your cable, drive your car. What trifling man ain't gonna see that? That's the Powerball for a trifling man. You know, and so that woman, like you said, she has that nurturing mindset that somehow I'm gonna scream loud enough, or I'm gonna cry loud enough, or I'm gonna do something that's gonna make him change his ways. When the reality is, he's gonna do that to you until you no longer accept it, and then he's gonna go find somewhere else to do
it. And the sucky part is that if you're this good woman who does this, you're tainted, because now you think it's what we do, and it's a look in the mirror thing. And don't get it twisted. Some of us are like that, but sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and say, why did I make this bad decision? And it's no different than what good men have to do when they pick a bad woman. You got to look in the mirror and say, what made me do this and keep going? What made me do this and keep going? I read a post where somebody said, you know, one of the dumbest things on earth is to suffer with somebody as a couple. You got two people and you're suffering. You can suffer by yourself and it won't cost you as much, but somebody's there, they just doubling your suffering. And it's like, damn, you know, I guess, because if you're rising, then you ain't suffering. But using Cliff's scenario, you by yourself and you barely got your head above water. You take on an adult, you're drowning. You're drowning, and you're willfully drowning. And like I say, men do it, women do it. But it's something that we have to start having uncomfortable conversations about. Why did you pick this? And, you know, as Cliff said, we're going to hold sex before marriage for another show. But if it's the sex, fine, have sex, and then send him home. Let him go back to his car. And, you know, whenever you need some, tell him he ain't got to sleep on the bridge now. He can come over and get something, then put him back out. But to sit there and let him just sit back, because there are tons of males that will accept that lifestyle. You don't require anything out of them. And why would they? It's almost like having a job that pays you good money and you ain't got to do nothing. So why would you work? Why would you go in early? The boss say, hey man, you get here whenever you want to. We're gonna pay you $75,000. You just come in and show up. You say, what you want me to do? Hey man, as long as you're here about 10 o'clock, I'm making $75,000. I ain't got to do shit, but you know, show my face from time to time. I ain't got to be held accountable. Ladies, demand more. Don't sit there and beg for more. Demand more. And if your demands can't be met, as Mel was saying on the break, then realize that ain't the man for you. And you know, sometimes we don't want to move on, but that's just one of them things that, if you're working hard, you deserve somebody who can either match your hustle or give you a balance and take some kind of load off you. They should be able to take some kind of load off you. And coming to pick you up to work in your car ain't taking a load off you, because now you ain't got to drive home. That don't really count. That don't really count. What you got for me, Cliff?
A lot of this for men and women. This go back to the very beginning when we first start dating. It's one, what are you dating for? And do you have a standard? When we talk about women, we tend to beat women up for having a standard, you know. And I always say to women, you got a standard for where you'll eat, you got a standard for where you live, you got a standard for what you wear. Why don't you have a standard for your man? So if your standard as a woman is, I need a man with a job, that's your standard. If he doesn't have a job, he doesn't qualify. He doesn't qualify. Now, within your standards, you might have a preference. I want a man with a white collar job. Okay, that's a preference. But your standard is a job. And women have been beat down so much for, you know, in some ways, they're gold diggers or they're this or they're that because they have a standard. And I always try to teach them, what I try to tell my daughter and every woman I know, have a standard. And if he don't meet your standard, you don't owe him no apology for saying you don't qualify for this job. I can't walk up and I can't get an IT job because I ain't got an IT background. So I shouldn't be surprised when they tell me I don't qualify for a job. So if women had standards that they lived up to and say, I am worthy of this standard. I am worthy of a man to work. I'm worthy of a man that helps me around the house. If that's your standard, set that standard and don't move from it, because you're going to save yourself a lot of drama. You're going to save yourself a lot of drama once you let that standard go. You sell it for something you don't deserve. Have a standard and be comfortable with that standard. And as far as I'm concerned, for a man or woman, that standard should be at a minimum equal to what you're bringing to the table. That's at a minimum. If you got your own place in your own car, you should be looking for your own place in your own car. That's just my opinion. It may not always be that exact, but I think women have been beat down for having standards in some ways, and they got to get back to the point of having standards and just not bending on those standards.
And again, you said a whole lot, because what I'm noticing, and I got a show plan for it, is that somewhere along the educational gap, we stopped talking to the youth. You know, we love to say that they stopped listening, because we know that, you know, they only gonna listen to so much. But if you don't even share with them, and I think it's more so, from my standpoint, it's more so women don't share their trials and tribulations, because a woman at 40 plus is normally nothing like the girl at 20 plus. Sometimes us men, we going through midlife crisis. Sometimes we still in that same basic mindset. But when you talk to some of the women, when they're older, when they fully matured, and you ask them about the choices they made, who they lost their virginity to, who they had a baby by, they would tell women not to make the same mistake that they made, but they don't really share this. They know that they should have done better. They understand why, and we don't have these uncomfortable conversations, mothers and daughters. I had uncomfortable conversations with my sons. I don't know how many fathers actually do that. You know, we had a big long talk about sex, about kids. You know, not the fear factor of it, but just the responsibilities that come with it. But it's a missing conversation piece. A lot of women, you know, when they talk about it, when you ask them about why you're not with your first kid's father, and they can tell you why it wasn't a good match. But at the time, they were of a different mindset. But now, knowing what they know, they would have never done it. But, you know, love makes you stupid. And we blame a lot of things on love because we truly don't understand what it is because we've never experienced it. And I don't think anybody ever fully explained what it does to you and how stupid it makes you.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the thing I always say about love. And I wish I had known this earlier. Love is an emotion, right? It's a feeling. It's really about me making a conscious decision that I'm going to do everything in my power to show my wife I love her every day. But the decision about whom I love is intellectual. And that's where we fall astray sometimes. We make decisions on who we're going to love based on the emotion of love. When that decision about who we're going to be loved should be an intellectual decision based on sound reasoning, understanding, rationale, looking at how y'all fit, looking at y'all lifestyle. We've just been told, oh, my heart starts to flutter. She walks across the room with the backyard looking nice and this looking nice. And we just, oh my God, like the cartoon with the hearts flying, and we're in love. And no one teaches us that there's an intellectual component, or there should be, to who we choose. That's why when people ask me, can a man be in love with two women? I say a man and woman can be in love with as many people they want to be in love with. Because that just means you made a decision to show them that you love them. But it should be an intellectual decision. And I agree with you. We're not teaching that to our young people. We're not telling them that we've made mistakes. You know, I tell people, here's my saying. If I am wise today, it's because I was stupid yesterday. So the only reason I got any wisdom today is because I was stupid yesterday. And I made a bunch of mistakes. And like you said, we don't share it. We don't talk to our young men. We don't talk to our young women. So we watch them make some of the same mistakes we made because we won't share that information. I mean, think about it. Everybody at some point has probably been in love, but no one teaches us about
it. And some mistakes, unfortunately, you got to let them work through, but you can still give them a guide map of some of the hurdles that they're gonna go through with this. And this is a crucial thing. You know, Trina snuck in here, so she wanted to see who was trying to cause a divorce. But like, after we've had some uncomfortable conversations about things, she can now have uncomfortable conversations with her daughter about what she should expect out of life and out of men that a lot of women don't want to have with their kids. And you know, when I did a show earlier, and I'm asking women about, you know, I'm looking at the women who say, yeah, me and my daughter, we best friends. Me and my daughter, we best friends. Guys who saying, me and my son, we best friends. And, you know, I just, you know, just playing devil's advocate. I said, so you and your daughter best friends, right? She's like, yeah. I said, so did you tell her about self-pleasure? Oh, no, we ain't having that conversation. Well, then you had that conversation with your best friend, but you won't talk to your daughter about sex. And she's young. And if I'm being honest, when sex enters the equation in our teenage years, our early 20s, it's about the man. Most women don't know what they like. Most men don't care what the women like. It's about the man. So, you know, when I asked the women, what was the age where you start to enjoy sex, where you knew what you like? Most of them saying in their mid-30s. So from 18 to 35 or 17 years, you had sex and they did it for him. So you're going to let your daughter go through this same thing, not knowing that she can enjoy this as well, and how to take, they want to have that conversation. I was like, well, how can she be your best friend if you can't have that conversation with her? I'm confused. And if we want them to do better, we got to tell them about some of the pitfalls and the things that keep from getting used or fall into this mentality that they have to be subservient and not have any wants or needs. Just be there just to take care of a dude, just to be there for him while they're learning themselves. Because if they mature before us, why is it they not mature before us? And it's like, I'm listening to it. Like I said, when I started reading your stuff, it was just hitting with me. And that was, like I said, that was one. And then the next one is, this is the one that me and you gonna fight about, Cliff. So go get your boxing gloves.
That's why we love each other. So it ain't gonna be a fight that's gonna do nothing but make us love each other more. So it ain't gonna hurt that.
Hey, Cliff, I'm gonna throw some cyber jabs and a couple of social media uppercuts. So, hey, man, 2 commercials right quick, please. You with me? And then we're gonna come back and discuss this next truth. Maybe.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
We are making the virtual HBCU experience available wherever you live through Stillman Online. We offer online degrees in business, criminal justice, psychology, and religion. Stillman also offers technology badges in cybersecurity and data analytics. You can participate in all student activities, fraternities and sororities, internships, graduation ceremonies, and much more. Apply for admission today at stillman.edu. Stillman College, where we prepare you for a different world.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
All right, we back. So this is where intelligent debate comes in, where you can agree with something and still have little points, and you discuss these points. So from Cliff Brown, January the 16th, the truth is, teaching, telling, or raising our young girls to believe they don't need a man without additional context is a terrible practice that both men and women should stop. We should teach her instead to desire a husband. Yes, a husband. Teach her that girlfriend, side chick, friend with benefits are not acceptable titles to her. Teach them that any man unwilling to marry her is not worthy of her virginity. We need to teach our daughters the skills she will need as a mother and wife before she gets married. How to care of herself physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially, to cook and care for her home. When she is married, it will not be because she needs a man. It will be because she desires a husband. And for those sisters thinking, what about the men? Be patient. One post at a time. See, he cut out the battle of the sexes right there. Because I hate when people start talking about what about them, what about that. Right now he's directing this to one group. And I can't deny I like what he said. But if I'm being honest, I think trying to phase sex out is for me, I think it's kind of reckless. I don't think many boys, girls, men, women, nothing are gonna wait to get married to have sex. But I like the message. To say that, to teach women that they don't need men, or to teach men that they don't need women, is reckless and dangerous to us as a race and a species. But and as I've done a few shows, sometimes we are emotionally unavailable. And I'm gonna let Cliff talk, but sometimes the girlfriend, the side chick, the friends with benefits are things that will get them through, whether it's a man or a woman, will get them through whatever it is they're going through so they can elevate. But I like the message, because sometimes we're all not mentally stable enough to be in a relationship, a true relationship. But Cliff brought up virginity. So with virginity, like I say, I'm on the fence about it. What say you, Cliff? What say you, Cliff?
This is what I would say. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So this is what I would say. First, I would say that this is really about a woman's value of herself, right? And of her body. And if we as adults are really honest and we say, okay, once we bring sex into the picture at any age, and let me be clear, being a virgin till you get married doesn't mean you can get married and not have drama in your marriage. So I'm not saying that. But the moment you bring sex into a picture, especially when a woman does it, okay, the man has won. That's it. The game's over. They're not going to tell you that, but it's over. You've now given him the one thing he really wanted. Now, he can claim he don't want it. He can say he don't want it, but he took it. So he wanted it. Whereas if you don't have sex, then here's who's going to be left standing. 6 men. And you decide you're going to remain a virgin till you get married. That man that's standing at that altar was not interested in just sex. So I get it. The chance of it happening is probably slim enough in this day and age. But I think from a practice, once you start bringing sex into the picture, what happens is sex replaces all of those important conversations. So where you used to sit around and talk for hours about everything, now once you have sex, the conversation is aimed at getting to the bedroom. It's no longer about getting to know you on a deeper level. Every conversation is now, and this is not for every case, but the conversations tend to be toward how do we go from the couch to the bedroom. So then once you bring that sex into the picture, it stops those intimate conversations and it becomes dangerous. Because when I say dangerous, I mean, think of this. If we as adults are really honest, and if we look back, and if we look at premarital sex we had before marriage, and we are not with that woman, and even if we with that woman, there might be some drama because of that. What really came out of it? We got baby mamas, we got baby daddies, we got soul ties, we got baggage, we got all that from that one act of sex that we've been led to believe that somehow is the end all, the be all, and the only way that, especially for a woman, to show a man she loves is by giving her his body. And my thing is, sister, that's the most priceless thing you got. That should be the last thing you get. That should be the last thing you get. That's right there, like, that's just my value of a woman, because once you give it to that man, what else is there? What else is you lose if you walk away? He didn't have sex. You know what I mean? So you once you do that, in some ways, in my not as a game and you lose, but once you have sex with that man, you've essentially, in a lot of ways, shifted all that power to him. You get pregnant, you end up with a deadbeat baby daddy. You don't get pregnant, you end up with soul ties. So the next man you meet, you treating him based on the one you slept with that didn't treat you right. So I agree with you. I don't think it's likely to happen, but I do think we should teach young women and men the value of their body and the spiritual dangers and the natural dangers of having sex before you get married, because they're there. They're there. They're definitely there.
And I don't think he's saying women aren't interested. You got the question, so women are interested in sex. I don't think that that's what he's saying. I just think he's saying that sex is a force multiplier for men. Once you have sex with a man, he's gotten what he wanted out of the relationship. Are you getting what you wanted? And I think that's what we started in the beginning, that yeah, there's some people who the titles that we use will work for them because they're not at that point where, but for a lot of people, especially young people, marriage is not the end game. So they're not thinking along those lines. And that's probably part of where we lost a lot of things, because we don't share some of the things, as he was saying, about what happens once you start having sex and you pick up these soul ties, or you pick up these babies, or you pick up these bodies, and it comes back later on. And I don't know how many men said, but I've heard a lot of women say, I wish I wouldn't have slept with so-and-so. And it's like, why do you wish that? And they got a little story. And it's like, well, why did you? And they give you all these reasons, and most of them are emotional. And I think it's really because nobody ever has a talk with them to understand the true value of your body. The true value of your body is what all men mean, y'all.
I ain't never heard that statement. I ain't that statement, man. I ain't never heard no man say, I wish I didn't sleep with her.
Oh, you never heard it. Right. I ain't never heard a man say that.
I ain't never heard no man say that. I ain't never heard a man say that. Because we don't think that way.
Cliff, let me help you out. I had a crazy woman. I wish I would have never slept with her. So you can say you heard one now. Yeah.
It's a first.
If I could take something back in life, Cliff, it would be that woman. Oh, goodness. Yeah. But that's a whole nother show too. But no, Mignon, and when we talk in general, I don't think we're ever talking about all, because nothing applies to everybody. But we're talking the majority. I do believe that the majority of men are good men. Women, just like men, don't stand up enough when they got a good one, because they like keeping what they got a secret, because we've learned that if Cliff talk about his good thing, if DVP talk about his good thing, somebody's gonna chase out this good thing. So sometimes the best thing to do is not say nothing. So what we hear a lot of people who complaining about the shitty person that they got. And so it seems like that person becomes a majority because everybody's complaining. But there's lots of people, I mean, there's lots of great marriages. One of the things I've been blessed with, I know quite a few people who have been married over 30 years. That to me was amazing, because I just started looking at the couples I knew. I know one couple who's been married 46, 47 years. That to me is insane. But it's there. But they don't post a lot. They don't talk a lot. They just go on doing their thing. And if we don't start teaching the girls the value that they have, then they get caught up into the WAPs. They get caught up into the thought issues, because that's what they see the boys liking. And of course, everybody wants to be liked, but you're not telling them the drawbacks behind this. When they know better, they can do better. So at some point, as me and you talked about earlier, Mignon, at some point, the women have to start talking to the girls that want to know. They have to catch them before they need to know. It's easier to catch an open mind than it is to catch a mind who already know what they want to do. You know, we can't. Somebody say, why don't you tell boys they need to do this? And I say, cause I can tell them whatever I want to. If you're gonna sleep with him, he's gonna ignore me. I can't make a boy pull his pants up. If y'all want it, if the girls want the boys to pull their pants up, all they gotta do is cut out sex, and I guarantee you, all them pants will come up just like that. Because if they can still get it, I can tell them all I want to. They're gonna look at me and say, "Yeah, pops," but I'm still getting women. Because that's the answer. I'm still getting women. I think that at an early age, young men value women more than they value money. As you get older, you flip that switch. But when you're younger, it's about getting women. And y'all hold the key to that. Make yourself valuable. And I think that's pretty much what Cliff was talking about. Like I say, marriage ain't for everybody. And I don't think that they're gonna stop having sex. But if we're talking about just understanding your value, understanding the power that you possess, that has got to be brought more to the forefront.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
I think that people got to understand. So when it comes to like, they're not gonna stop having sex, right? But I think if you could do a poll of like all the women in the world and say, okay, how many of the women in the world have ever had their heart broken by a man they did not sleep with? Not your father, not your stepfather. How many women have had their heart by a man they never slept with? I will guarantee you that the number of dudes who had their heart broken by the men they never slept with, compared to the ones who had their heart broken by the men they slept with, is going to be flipped upside down. So I agree, they're not going to stop. My whole thing with women is just understand your value. And I teach my sons the same thing, value your body. But the prized possession is the woman. It always has been. The prized possession of a man is the woman. Is it natural? Is it lust? It's a combination of all of it. But every man desires a woman he finds attractive. And if she's going to give him that which he wants, very few men are going to turn it down. Very few men are going to be strong enough to say, hey, that's not what we should be doing. We should be doing something else. So I think it's not, and let's clear this up. You got some women that just want sex too. That's a whole different topic. But you got some women who strictly want sex too. I think it's probably equal, and I think a whole different show is we think we've been taught to believe we the hunters, when actually I think we're the prey. But that's a whole different story, because that's the way we've been taught. But right. I just want women to understand your value, and that should be something that's valued. That should be something that's not easy to get. If you got 20, 30 men can all say they lived in your house, so to speak, that ain't a house I necessarily want to live in. You know what I mean? So that's it's just understanding your value. It don't mean they're gonna stop it, but we should be teaching our young girls having sex with him should not be a demonstration of your love for him. That's not what it is, because he's not gonna see it that way. So that's all I'm saying. So,
Cliff, you got any daughters, or you just got sons?
2 daughters.
You got 2 daughters and a son?
I got 3 sons, 2 daughters, and I just added a wonderful daughter-in-law to the clan. So now I got 3 daughters.
Okay. Yeah. And and it's crazy. And I think part of the uncomfortable conversation that we as grown men have to understand, and I'm just learning to accept this, is women to me are normally the better teachers, because most of them nurturing comes easy to them. Most men are really great at being providers or earners. At some point, fathers have to start having uncomfortable conversations with their daughters. And it's something we don't want to think about, because in our mind, we want them to remain virgins until we die. But we got to start having conversations. It's great when their mother can have a conversation, but they still need to hear certain things from a man, especially a man who has influence with them. And I think, a lot of us don't want to have that conversation with our daughters, because we're just not, we're not there yet, even though we know it's needed. How do we broach that subject? I mean, what man wants to sit down with his daughter and talk about sex and how to be responsible about it? I think we get married just to avoid that conversation. It's like, hey, that's your job. You talk to her. I'll talk to the boys. You talk to the girls. But it's something that as fathers, as role models, we have to take a more active stance in to let them say, hey, this is what this is. This is what that is. These are your powers. Use them how you want to. My job is just to educate you. I can't make no decision for you, But understand this. Now you got it from me, you got it from your mother. Now you armed with a wealth of knowledge. So you can't say you didn't know certain things. Because now when they say they don't know, 9 times out of 10, that's the right answer. Nobody ever told them about that. What do we tell kids about sex? Don't do it or you might catch a disease and die.
Right.
But that ain't what their friends tell them. Their friends tell them how much they enjoy it. They listen to us when we think they ain't listen. They listen to us do it. We sound like we enjoying it. So why do we keep telling them it's a bad thing? Sam says having sex is not in the conversation. It's all about that once a couple had sex. And I think part of what he's saying is, but even before you get to the sex, there needs to be something else that's going on. Because I think love under 30 is led with loins and not your head. It's led by them tingling feelings you get. And we have to learn the difference between love and lust. Because I hear love is a word that's used too frequently and it's being misused, in my opinion.
Most overrated most overrated word probably in the English language is love.
Now,
and we don't have any.
Go ahead.
What was you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's the second. Friend is the most overrated word, then love.
There you go. I can agree with you. I can agree with you 100%. I think that when we started talking about with my daughters, me and my daughters have had some of these comfortable conversations. I was a single father for years, and one of the things I learned early on was to mind my actions around my daughter and watch how she saw me treat women and things of that nature. So that's important for men to do that, and how we treat our wives. And it doesn't mean we're going to be perfect, but we don't want to have some of these uncomfortable conversations because we're going to have to expose some of our mistakes. We're going to have to expose some of our shortcomings as men or women. But that's exactly what we need to do to really get them to learn. The idea is that they don't go through the same things we went through. I want my kids to be better than me. I want my grandkids to be better than my children, and so on down the line. So I think just having some of these conversations, just like we have tonight, it's helpful. And it's not about somebody thinking they got all the answers or trying to blame men or women or anything like that. I think it's just it's conversations that need to be had. And I think that women, sex, right? This is. Women fail to understand the power they have over men. So I always say to my wife, I use this example in some ways. From a biblical standpoint, the authority in the marriage rests with the man. He's the head of the marriage, so forth and so on. But the influence in that marriage rests solely. And her influence, when used correctly, will override his authority pretty much 99% of the time if she uses it correctly. Once you start to have sex, that sex is not going to increase your influence over that man. It's going to decrease, because now again, you giving him what you want. I want a piece of cake. You give me a piece of cake. So now I got a choice to stay in the bakery or go to another bakery, because I've now gotten what I wanted. So I agree with you, man. We got to have them tough conversations. And my big thing with women is really just trying to get them to see their value and what they're worth, and to view themselves through a lens that I may not have viewed them through in the years past, but to view themselves as just the most precious thing on earth, and to carry themselves in that manner. We are nothing without our black queens, and I mean all women, but I'm a black man, so I'm talking about black queens in particular. We're nothing without them, man. We need them. They need us, and I just want them to value themselves, and our young girls to grow up understanding the value of their bodies, and not just to throw it around like it's a commodity that can be used to barter to get what they want emotionally, because it's not going to happen.
And I think one of the things that he said, and he didn't go deep into it like I wanted him to, ladies, in addition to wanting to know your value, I want you to find somebody who finds value in you.
Good point, bro. Good point.
And I think a lot of times, one of the things I talk about is a lot of times people we like something that doesn't like us, and we try to keep pushing at it, and all we do is give away power. If the man doesn't value you, what's your motivation? I mean, it's like, what, you gonna make him like you by giving him some? I can remember those futile exercises when I was growing up. Girls like, oh, once I give you something, you ain't gonna want to leave this. And I'm thinking, there's no connection. It's a physical thing. Yeah, it felt good, but I had that, 2 days ago. Bye-bye. You can't use that to manipulate, but find somebody who finds value in you, and then go forward. Because, people got mad at me when I said the market determines your value, because all of us overrate ourselves. Oh, I'm worth this. According to who? If ain't nobody knocking down your door, you ain't worth shit. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but yeah, your mom, your dad, they told you, you were a princess, and it's cute. I hear that. But if ain't nobody after you, stop thinking that you gon', LeBron James is coming knocking at your door. It ain't gonna happen. Who's after you? Why are they after you? Listen to what they're doing. There was a point in time when I said I wouldn't recommend it, but I truly would. And I talk about, how me and Trina met, and she was living in New York and I was here. Well, over the course of the relationship, because we weren't around, we never got the sexual tension. We actually had to get to know each other because all we could do was talk. And it's like, damn, that's kind of crazy. I wouldn't suggest long distance relationships, but without us being face to face and having that sexual tension between us to distract us from getting to know each other, we could have ended up in a different place. We actually had to do a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of teenage shit, holding the phone at 3, 4 in the morning, going to sleep on each other. But we got to know a little bit more about each other, something I had never done before, because, after 3 or 4 times, we meet and talk, okay, well, it's time to be naked now. It's time to be naked. And theoretically, part of what he said is, at some of those times, the growth actually stopped with sex, because that was the end game. I don't need to know nothing else about you.
That's the truth.
But, once you said, I could look back and say, damn, a lot of my relationship did end with sex. But again, that goes to me not knowing who I was or what I wanted. And without understanding the whole process, which is why as we get older and we can put terms on stuff and give it a true definition, it can make more sense. I used to talk about layaway girlfriends. Everybody, what's that? And it's what you was talking about. It's a girl I just want to have sex with. After 9 days, I'm gonna get rid of her. I had no real interest in her other than her body. So she had 90 days. Then after the layaway is paid off, it's time to get another layaway. And that's just one of them things that as I got older, I realized that I was doing. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing it consciously, but it was something because as you said, I valued them as much as they valued themselves. And if they were willing to do it, why would I say no? Talking, going together again. I don't think nobody go together no more, Antoinette. You telling your age. That's going together is an old folk term. Gangster rap changed the mindset. Then female rappers agreed and responded. Now we got full dysfunction. And I want to blame it on gangster rap, but I can't. I was having a conversation, and Cliff as old as I am. When we watched movies back in the day, Cliff, the blaxploitation movies, did we hear Shaft saying nigga? Did we hear Foxy Brown saying it? This is something that didn't come from, I don't know where this came from, where we turned and started being so disrespectful to each other. All the blaxploitation movies, they said jive turkey and stuff like that. This is something that's totally different. And part of it, if we're being totally honest, it came with the crack epidemic when parents stopped being parents. Parents, and women in particular, started being baby carriers because they all wanted something to love. And just like having a puppy, as it got older, they lost interest in it. And parents stopped parenting because they were never equipped to be parents. But women wanted to have, young ladies wanted to have a sense of worth, and they weren't getting it from home, so they got it through a baby. I can't say music did that. I think crack had more to do with it than anything else. That's when they called us out our name. By the time that hit, that crack epidemic was hard. As for now, I think drugs and our lack of being able to handle it caused a bigger issue.
I think they all played a big issue in that, man. But the crack epidemic was definitely there. But anytime you can get a group of men, so black men, once we start to devalue our women for any reason, society is going downhill. And what we see now as a result of black men devaluing black women for whatever reason, crack epidemic, drugs, maybe promiscuous on the side of women and men. We've started to devalue them as the black queens they are, and as a result, we sit in our society. So now we're comfortable with I don't even know the big chick name that half naked on all their rap videos, and we comfortable lauding that as if that's a great thing because she half naked running around, and I don't care if she's 10 pounds or 1,000 pounds. Why are we applauding that like that's some great thing? But that's a part of society telling us to devalue our black women, and it go back to what you said with Real Housewives. Every show on TV, you will not find very many shows that are not absolutely totally disrespectful to black women. Real Doctors of Atlanta, a bunch of whatever the show is, a bunch of black women with PhDs that are absolute ignorant, that are spending all their time cursing and screaming and cheating. As far as I'm concerned, all that stuff is a planned attack to make men devalue black women. And if you tell black women, or all women in general, if you tell black women or black men that's the case, they'll look at you like you're crazy. But you know, I told somebody the other day, when is the last time you heard of a woman being called a lady? You remember when we was young? They was like, oh, that's a lady. That term is out the window. You don't hear it no more. You don't hear it no more. You know, so it's a lot of factors in it, but that's not all women. Let me be clear, because you got a lot of women that are carrying themselves with the same class and grace and dignity that has been around all the time, and those are the ones to me that give me that ray of hope that there might be some hope for some of our young girls coming up.
Females and chicks and shit.
And that's what's going to fall into when we go into the next conversation. That I think part of our biggest problem, and this for me, this is colorism. Part of our biggest problem is we'll take any excuse we can to not be accountable and responsible. They can put whatever music they want on there. Again, Clip is my age. You remember Eric Clapton, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy? That didn't lead to a bunch of police shootings. It was just a song. So music has been there. We don't have to listen to it. There's nobody forcing us to do this. There's nobody forcing us to say these songs out loud. This is something that we choose, and it's easier to blame them for making us listen to it. But nobody makes me listen to anything. Nobody makes me watch trash television. My daughter knows what it is. And, you know, even me and my wife, sometimes when we bored, we'll try to watch 3 or 4 hours of trash television just to free our minds up from being, you know, from having so much thinking about the stresses of the world. We just watch some getaway television, but we don't take it as reality. We take it as what it is. It's funny TV because you can sit there and look how dumb some of this stuff is. But some of these people, they take this as real life and they want to emulate it, and then they want to blame the media when I did a show a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about racist and racism, and people say, oh, we can't be racist because we don't have power. Well, we need to learn to be racist. Take your power, turn the TV channel. Turn the TV channel. Turn the radio station. You don't have to listen to music about bitches and hoes. I refuse to listen to Rick Ross just because he made the song about drugging women, and I hate it when people played it. So this is what y'all are celebrating? This man going out and saying in lyric, because he got a nice funky bass line, that he popping mollies in women's drinks so he can have sex with them, and y'all playing this like it ain't nobody's business. Y'all singing it out loud. Y'all playing it at the street corners. You don't realize what you're doing, and as somebody else said, you don't realize your kids are listening to this. I mean, most of us grew up listening to what our parents listened to. I used to hate Brother Esmond Patterson because every Sunday morning my mama got up and cut that damn thing on while she vacuumed. I hated Brother Esmond Patterson. I didn't listen. I don't know. They probably didn't have none, but we didn't have a bunch of trash music that's being promoted. Here we got this whole Google thing. My daughter was listening to some other day, and she know who Whitney Houston is. She calling out people because she has to listen to what her mother listens to, and her mother don't listen to Meg Thee Stallion or Cardi B. She probably do know a Cardi B song. I don't know, but she don't listen to all that degrading music. When as parents, when as grandparents, do we start, as Cliff had said earlier, when do we start taking our power back? We control this narrative, but it's easier to blame somebody else for doing something because of our inaction. So I just want to say that because all this is going to lead into the next segment, and I wanted to make sure I gave it at least 40 good minutes. So we're gonna take another break. We're gonna get 2-3 commercials in, and we're gonna come right back as I get Mel to come on here and do her thing. Producer Mel, is you with me? Is you with me?
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door. Tell them.
What's up? What's up? What's up? We here for the last segment, and this is the reason. This is reason number 1, 2, and 5 why I wanted Cliff to come on the show. Because when I saw this one, any of y'all that know me know that there's certain things I just don't go for. And blaming single moms is I'm not finna go for that shit. I'm not. Are there some shitty mothers? Absolutely. Are there some shitty fathers? Absolutely. But we're not finna sit back and blame the lack of manliness on single motherhood, because I know lots of men, masculine alpha types, protectors and warriors who come from single parent households. I'm sorry, who come from single mothers. Period. So, Cliff did this, and the two I done did, I'm gonna repost. I'm gonna repost them in the group. But this one right here, I'm gonna figure out a way to make this into a meme. I'm gonna have a whole slide for the show. Y'all ready for this? Then this is what we're going to talk about. Mel, I want you to make sure you here for this and hear all this. The truth is, you cannot get me to buy into the madness that single black women are somehow responsible for raising irresponsible, weak, or feminine men. That is a lie. This is Cliff now. I was raised on 46th Street, Southeast in the 1970s and 80s. Yes, there were men. But that neighborhood was dominated by strong, black, and in most cases, single women. I will not even attempt to name them, because to omit one would be disrespectful. But they know who they are. Some were big sisters, some were like aunts, but most were like mothers who loved, disciplined, fed, nurtured, and protected us as if we were their own children. And I, as a grown man, am so thankful and grateful for them, because God used them to play a huge role in the success I have and the man I am today. Those who grew up there know. So tell mama I love and appreciate her. other than where you stay, I couldn't have said that no better my damn self. And as a product of a single mother, and I got lots of friends who are products of single motherhood, every time I hear dudes try to disgrace them or women try to downplay how great you can be as a single mother, stop that shit. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I ain't knocking no, understand this. I ain't knocking no dad that raised this child. I got much respect to you and kudos to you for going through what it takes. But to try to disrespect a woman because she's a single mother, and I'm going to let Cliff get to this in a minute. Every time I hear this, and I say, listen, I'm going to bite that apple. I'm going to say it's a woman's fault that men are soft, that men are this, men are that. I'm going to bite that apple and say, I totally agree with you. Now, the point is, why did that sorry-ass daddy leave her? If he knew that she wasn't shit, why did he leave his child there alone? So if it's her fault for raising like that, it's his fault for leaving. Let's take that. Let's take that because I did the poll. I did the survey. I had to take my glass off. I need a drink now, and I ain't even got my liquor with me. But when I did the survey, Cliff, I want you to do it too, because you got a lot of I asked the question, ladies, how many of y'all wanted to have a baby by yourself? Since that's a lot of dudes love to tell. I got 2. Out of over 200 answers, 2 women said they wanted to be by themselves. 2. But dudes claiming that's what these women want. Older women, middle-aged women, even young, ain't none of them want to do it by themselves. And Cliff 57, he done talked to dudes who talk that game and talk that shit. And almost every woman to a word got the same line once she told him that she was pregnant. Oh, babe, I'm gonna be here for you and my kids. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And most of them didn't make it 6 months. Most of them didn't make it 6 months. And when I did the show, Cliff, I asked the guys, why did you leave? And they said she changed. And I had to do another thing. And I said, what do you mean she changed? Man, she didn't want to do this no more. She didn't want to do it. Oh, you mean she turned into a mother? You turned her into a mother, and then you got mad because she changed. Because you still wanted to run the streets. So you left your child so you could continue to run the streets. While she didn't have that option. She had to stay behind and clean up your mess. So I'm not buying that apple. Cliff, talk to me.
First, let's kill a single father thing, right? I was a single father of 3 kids. So let's kill that. I'm a single father. I know how hard we work. Man, I'm sorry. There's no one on earth, and this is not everybody. There's, to me, a single black woman taking care of kids is the strongest thing on the face of this planet. They endure so much to make sure we made it. When I think of my mother particularly, my mother raised 4 kids on a carry-out salary. She worked in a carry-out. I don't know we did not necessarily grow up in the projects. I lived in private apartments that just happened to be surrounded by the projects. We never were hungry. Lights were never off. We were always fed, clothes clean. She taught us the things. You can't tell me about the value of black women. And again, for men, if we want to take this plateau of we the king, we the man, that child is just as much your responsibility as that woman, if not more, because you're supposed to be the king, and the king supposed to be making sure the kingdom is okay. So when people attack black women because men are being raised feminine, I'm with you. The first thing I always ask for, where's the father? Where's the father at? So what the father did was became a father and realized I don't want to be a father. I still want to be a child and do all the things that children do, which is go outside.
Stop right there. Stop right there, Cliff. Say it one more time. Say it one more time. He didn't what now?
The father had a child, didn't want to be a father. He wanted to be a child and do all the things we did as children. So what did we do as children? We went outside to play. So whether you're going to play the club, the cabaret, the bicycle group, the Mason's Lounge, you're going outside to play. And a lot of times, it don't mean men can't do those things, but when those things become your everyday, all the time activity, you're not ready to be mature to be a man. Because again, you're dealing with childish activity, and not in the sense of it's a child's thing, but real men don't have time to play. you know, in that sense. So they leaving these mothers, and then we want to look back at the mother and says the mother's fault. Well, where was the man at? What was our role in this? When we got her pregnant, she got pregnant, why did we leave? Why didn't we stay? Or if we did leave, we still continue to raise that child as if we were in that house. The problem is most men, you get her pregnant. Again, we're going back to the sex thing. You ain't really want to know way. Now you got the sex. Now there's a level of responsibility comes with being a father that most young men are not capable of handling. So they do what's natural, is run. And so for us to now blame somehow our state of our society on the black mothers who stayed, and then let's be clear with this. Let's this is why this gets on my nerve, and I'm not the one to have this conversation with. This didn't start in 2020. This didn't even start in 2000 or 1990 or 1980 or 1970, not even 1960s. I'm almost going to if you go back to right after slavery, when the black men were calling themselves going up north to get jobs and make better money, there were a lot of black women raising kids by themselves. This has been going on for a long, long time. They will say the black marriage and the black families were stronger than ever. And I believe that's why civil rights and a lot of other stuff came about to destroy that, but that's a different story. Black mothers have been doing this for a long time. They've been doing this for a long, long, long time. And to now look at them and say somehow the plight of black people rests on the shoulder of these strong black women who stood in the place of millions and millions of men who were too weak, too sorry, too trifling to raise their children, period. And I don't care if she don't like you. I don't care if she took you for child support. I don't care if she wouldn't let you see your child. Then go to court. Show me your court papers. I would much rather you show me that you've been to court 12 times fighting to see your child than to just tell me your mother wouldn't let you see the child and you quit.
But Cliff, if we go back into the history of history, because everybody like to be from Africa. Everybody, I ain't knocking them, but if we go back to Africa, while the men were out hunting, what were the women doing? Wasn't they raising future hunters? So it's like this has been the history of mankind, that women have been elevating us since day one. So to sit back and try to act like now all of a sudden, but at least if we follow our history, the women did it while the men went out and got the food and the shelter and stuff. They didn't go out to party. They didn't go out to do other stuff. So somewhere along the way, one party stayed true to what they were bred to do, while the other party, we stopped. We became hunters, but not for food. We became pleasure hunters. But the women stayed true to what they were genetically predisposed to, what their ancestors did. One group ain't doing what their ancestors did. We walk away and won't think twice. And, you know, I didn't think about what you said, but now it makes sense. As the brothers left to go up north to find better stuff, they couldn't take their families. Some of them came back. Some of them brought their families. Some of them didn't. We have had a history, a long history now of running. It didn't have nothing to do with welfare, none of the other shit that we want to blame it on. We didn't want to accept responsibility. And Cliff, man, I wish you could have been with me when I was having these discussions with brothers who didn't want to bite into it. But every time I asked them, you know, you caused her to change and you got mad. You caused her to change, because if you didn't want to have that good feel-good sex and kept that condom on, she wouldn't have got pregnant. Then she would have stayed that little wild child that you like. But you forced her to grow up. She can't force you to grow up. See, that baby you just meeting, been inside her for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. They had a love affair a long, long time ago. You don't have a connection to this baby. Now that it's there, and now she wants you to get a job. Now she wants you to be responsible. Now y'all can't go to the club every weekend. So now you want to blame her, and you want to talk about why she mad. You know why she mad? Because you told her it was going to be y'all. In the sense of three, not in the sense of two. So every time I see brothers trying to do this, and I'm a Southern gentleman to my heart. You know how I got to be a Southern gentleman? Because once I learned how to drive and I would take my mama to the grocery store, my mama would not get out that damn car. I had to come open that door. So guess what? I learned to open and shut doors for women. I couldn't have did that with my daddy. My mama, when we would go to the grocery store, she would She would take the bread and the eggs. Everything else was for me to figure out. She taught me how to do critical thinking, how to start making my trip. She wasn't gonna grab nothing. One of the things I dislike about a lot of these new age women, you want to help your boys out. Don't do that. Let them figure these out. Let them get into problem solving early. My mom, like I said, she was gonna carry them eggs and the bread, and she was just gonna go upstairs. That was it. Everything else, all them canned goods, all that heavy stuff, I had to figure out. If it took me 10 trips, I had to figure it out. So she made me. She made me by letting me embrace who I was, but she could do it real world me. Because, see, we don't want our sons opening the door for us because that ain't what they're supposed to do. But we'll make our daughters sit in the car and embrace their womanhood. But how do men learn to be men? They got to be around women. The mother's the best example of that. And then we want to blame her because, oh, when I want to see the kids on the weekend, for you 4-day daddies, I ain't got no respect for y'all. You want them 4 days. And if they let them have a touch of sickness, you don't want them then because now all you want to do is play with them. And sometimes you just want to play with them for 2 days, and the other 2 days you're going to send them to grandma's house. So you ain't even a 4-day daddy. But you blaming her for everything that goes wrong. You blaming her because you don't want to step up. And, you know, I had made a post that I don't even want to talk to guys who ain't paying at least $500 a month in child support. Because if you're paying less than that, then you're a shitty parent. You might as well, you're a deadbeat. And the guy was like, I pay $475. I said, brother, we cool as hell, but I stand by my statement. If you ain't paying at least $500 a month, then we know you can't talk to me about that. Because that's the minimum you should be doing when we take into account, as you say, all the hard work to go into it. Cliff raised kids. You understand what it takes. And if you don't have a good job, and it took somebody to speak to me who I wasn't sleeping with to make me understand to get over my animosity as I had the mind of a young child. When she take off and she can't get paid, who gonna make up that money if all I'm giving is this? When she gotta take off for my sick child, where's she gonna get that money from? While I'm out doing the best I can, and I don't want child support to hit me because they may get me in a month I need tires for my car. So she gotta make up that slack. Oh, all she doing my money is getting her hair fixed. But when my child was sick, she was using her money. So I don't care if she get her hair fixed. All she doing is replacing her money. Cliff, you raised, how many kids did you raise as a single father?
I raised three, two boys and a girl.
Did their needs always come on the first of the month?
Oh no, absolutely not. Their needs came every day.
Right. And it's like, how you figure this?
But think about it. Here's what happens though, right? Go ahead, man. Go ahead and finish your thought. I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you think?
This is what I'm gonna say. Most times when you have a single mother, right? And men gonna hate this statement. Most times the single mother is raising the child, the father is babysitting the child. So the father will say, I'm gonna babysit my kid this weekend. I'm gonna get my kid this weekend. They see their role as totally different. Mothers see their role as raising. A lot of times fathers that are not there, they almost see their roles as tolerating that child or having to watch that child. And that's the piece that happens. And what we fail to realize is, as that man, this is what always killed me with men. If I tell a grown man to get a job, they ain't gotta get no job. If I tell a grown man, move over there, man, you can't tell me where to go. I'm a grown man. The woman says you can't see your kid, you tap out. Okay, I'm good with that. If that woman tell you can't see your kid and you tap out, you ain't never want to raise that child no way. You was looking for out. You've been looking for out since the day that child came out of that woman, and she gave you one, and you took it. A real man is going to take you to court and do everything possible to be able to be in that child's life. You know, I've always jokingly said to every woman I know, if a woman show up at my doorstep with a child that's 18 years old that I don't know about, which I ain't worried about happening, I'm probably going to go to jail because me and her will have a serious issue because it wasn't your right to take that from me. That wasn't your place to take that, my ability to raise my child from me. But men nowadays are comfortable leaving it. And let me say this, and I have no proof of this, but this is my theory. If the roles were reversed and there were as many single fathers as there were single men, I think we might be in a worse position. Because I think mothers are natural nurturers. They are natural providers, givers, caretakers. A mother will give up the world for her child. many fathers will make that child fit into their world. So, like you said, I'm gonna take you to grandma's house so I can go do my thing. Whereas mothers will sacrifice that and give up literally their life for that child. So, there's certainly room in this conversation. I don't. You just can't make me believe single mothers are the problem, because I watch what they've done, not with just me, with other people. I watch my youngest son, my granddaughter, beautiful granddaughter. The baby, his mother, Bree, is. I think she's a great young mother. She's a great young mother. But he's not there, so he's put her in the same situation that they're in. You know what I mean? Everybody else is in. So these are things I teach them as a son. We make him be. You're going to have to be tapped in more than once a week, more than twice a week. You're going to have to be a father and raise that child. But we can't blame single mothers for doing something that they've obviously done a great job of doing, because look around. And there's a lot of us that were raised by single mothers that are doing well. So you can't blame the state of Black America on single mothers.
Right. And they want to pick out one or two instances to be the norm. And it's like, if all you can find is one or two, then it tells you it ain't the norm. And, I did a show for these brothers who claim they can't. And I'm going to do a PowerPoint. I'm going to even tag you when I do it. There are ways to get all this done. If you truly want it, as opposed, if we as Black men spend as much time supporting our local football team, if we spent that kind of energy as we do supporting teams and buying cars on seeing your kids, we'd be much better off. But it's easy for us to be divisive, because then we don't have to be accountable or responsible. Oh, it's her fault. She won't let me see my kids. She don't have no control. If she won't let you see the kids, take her to court. Oh, but Black man don't want to go to court. Well, a Black man don't want to see his child. See, when I got divorced, I had a child. I had a choice. I didn't like the mother. We weren't good as a couple, but as a mother, I had no beef with her. I knew that I could make plenty of money, so I didn't have a problem paying support. Oh, she didn't have to put you on child support. You're right, she did. But guess what? As a responsible brother, I like being on child support, because they get their money like that. I don't have to be. I can't say, oh, something came up, or I'm gonna do the best I can. That money come out. I don't even get to see it. To me, it was the greatest thing going, because ain't no excuses. So if something happened, it happened on the government end. It didn't happen on my end, because all of a sudden something became more important than my child. Because every time I hear brothers saying, oh, I'm doing the best I can, how does that work when your child is hungry? Because when your child was sick, mama couldn't go to work, which means she didn't get a check. Are you going to increase your child support when you finally, man, she need to budget her money better. She shouldn't have had no baby. She couldn't afford to. When y'all made the agreement, did she say, I'm going to have this baby by myself and I don't need you? So you shouldn't have had a baby if you couldn't afford to pay child support. And if you don't think she can do it, I believe, in my heart of hearts, Cliff, I believe that if most of these single mothers stood up and pulled a Susan B. Anthony and showed up at daddy's doorstep and dropped the baby off and said, dude, I'm out, keep the baby, I bet they'd come up with their child support money then. I guarantee you dudes ain't gonna want to be they ain't gonna want to be the single parent. They gonna come up with that money. They gonna chase her down and tell her the greatest story ever told.
Yeah, most young men, and some men our age, don't have the ability to parent a child. Period. They can get mad. They can say what they want to say. The innate ability of a woman to raise a child and to be well aware of everything that's going on in that child's life is something men don't have naturally. It's just in her. And these men make a lot of excuses for why they can't be there to raise their kids and all that. But as far as I'm concerned, it's all BS. Unless you're dead as a man, don't tell me you can't see your child. I'm going to go to court. And I don't believe there's any court in America, and you got to show me on paper, where the judge said to a father, you can never see your child without some really extenuating circumstances. To say to this man, you can never, ever see your child. That's a hard pill to swallow. But men have to be willing, for me, my personal story, look, not having my children was not an option. That just wasn't an option. I asked for two things in my divorce: my last name and my 3 children.
And let me co-sign your story. For those y'all who don't know, look up the story of Ray Caruth. Ray Caruth was a football player, got a girl pregnant, didn't want to pay child support, hired a hitman. Guess what? Ray Caruth still get visitation. It's supervised. It's supervised because you got to do a whole lot for a judge to say that you can't see your child. He may put restrictions in there. You may not be able to see your child alone. You may not be able to take your child somewhere. But most courts will allow the parent to see, unless he tried to kill that kid. The judge still say, don't matter. He lived. He has a right to see his son. It's going to be some protection to make sure he don't try nothing again. It won't ever be alone. It won't be this. And we love to come up with an excuse why we can't do something. You know, when the brothers come to me and I ask them, you know, did you get the child legitimated? What's that? So you ain't even talk to nobody. You listen to your friends tell you what they couldn't do. I had 3 attorneys when I made the post who said, anytime a dad has fought for custody, he has gotten it. They said they done had over 15, 20 cases. She said most dads just don't show up to court. But she said when one called her, she said most time because they want to fight, they got a good reason. You know, judges will judges. Say it again.
Let me throw this in there for you right quick. I didn't learn this, and I'm assuming it's still true now. When a child is born, no parent has custody. The mother doesn't have custody of that child, no more than the father. So if that father took that child, that mother would have to fight for custody also. The assumption has always been that a child is born and the mother, now, I got to be on the birth certificate. But if you're both on that birth certificate, she has no more right to raise that child than the father. But most men don't know that. And I found it out when I was going through it. The judge was like, wait a minute, ain't nobody got custody.
Well, it's a little bit different now because ain't nobody walking out that hospital with that baby but mom. Man, them security systems they got in there now. Oh yeah. So, but we don't want that, and we don't know what's going on because we don't want to know. We don't want to know because as long as we ignorant, we can keep blaming the system. You know, oh man, the system favor the woman. No, the system favors whoever shows up for court. You ain't showing up for court because we've been taught that we should be scared of the system. The system will work for you if you learn to read and stop telling me what Pee Wee and Pookie them said. If you stop doing this, but are you ready to give up the street life? Are you ready to do what it takes to be a dad? You know, having been married with a child, understanding when that child crying in the middle of the night and you got to get up and, you know, I work my schedule so that I had time alone so we could both continue to work. It ain't easy. Children sleep when they want to sleep. They do what they want to do, and you got to give up a lot of stuff. You can't just bounce up. How many of us are willing to do that? But as opposed to saying, hey, man, I ain't ready to give up this life yet. Oh, no, man, shouted tripping. She don't want to let me see the kid. You're right, because you want to keep coming over at 9, 10 o'clock at night. You want to keep coming over when you want to. If the judge say pick the child up Saturday at 9 o'clock, you want to come at 12:30, 1 o'clock. The judge say to return the baby at 6 o'clock. You want to return the baby at 10, 11. She still got to go to work. She got a life she got to do. But if you work with her, most of these women, I did another post. If the dad worked with you, I know a guy, he got a house around the corner from his kids so that when he got them, they could still go to school. Same school. Guess what? They didn't worry about visitation because no matter where the kids stayed, school was right there. They could still catch the school bus. The mom wasn't sweating him about that stuff. I said, if y'all work with the mother, a lot of them don't need the money as much as they need the time. Because if you're going to take care of your kid, they don't need the same financial support no more because you're helping them. If you want to keep the kid, I ain't seen, we saw one crazy case on TV. I ain't seen too many mothers who deny their kids visitation. If you want to show up, they want you to be there 9 times out of 10. They want you to be there. So one of my guests said, we was doing the show. She's like, oh, I got to run. My child's father said he want to come and get his daughter. So I got to get her ready. I'm like, damn, Wednesday? She said, hey, that's what we got. If he got time and he want to keep overnight, he don't have to wait till Saturday and Sunday. And I was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. But we don't want to have these conversations because now that dude going to make all the rest of you dudes step up. Man, she only want to let me see my kid from 6. No, that's what the white man told you because that's what you settle for. But if you go in there and talk to her like you got good sense and stop calling her a bitch and all this, telling her, oh, I don't believe the baby mine no way. Why would she wanna work with you when you start challenging her integrity? Why would she wanna when you start challenging her, period? And that one post, because I'm gonna share it like 3-4 times. That's how I can just pull up. I already had it saved. Because every time I see us blaming single mothers, I take it as a frontal assault. Because now you're trying to look me in my face and tell me my mom ain't shit, bro. You know, it's a lot of things you can slip in on me, and I'm man enough to let go. I ain't man enough to let you go. I ain't man enough to let go. You tell me my mom ain't shit. I ain't that dude. You know what I'm saying? I keep some bail money just for them dudes.
Yeah, I can name probably, like I said, I won't name them because it'll be disrespectful to not name some of them. I know at least 15 women I can just rattle off that were single mothers that played a part. Most single mothers, the issue with men is you want to come and go as you please. So she's now required to watch this child every day, build her life around the child. You want to pop in and out when you get ready to. Hour here, hour there, 2 hours there. So then she becomes bitter and she's not really willing to let you see your child because she can't build her life around your lackadaisical approach to raising your child. So that's when they become bitter. But most women, if the man is doing well and taking care of their child, very few women, there's some that are going to be bitter and not want you to see your child. Men, we just got to do better and stop coming up with lame excuses and be as hell bent on raising your child as you are doing everything else in your life. That's my opinion. Don't take no for an answer.
And if she truly ain't shit, look in the mirror. Why'd you have a baby with somebody that ain't shit? Again, you can't keep pushing off on her. Remember that, not you, but we understand. You want to be the king. The king is responsible for everything that happened in this kingdom. Everybody who is under your reign, you're responsible for. So if you pick the ain't shit woman, look in the mirror and say, damn, why did I pick an ain't shit woman? Don't keep saying, oh, she ain't this, oh, she ain't that. Hey, come on now. So you mean to tell me? Say it again.
She was good enough for him to sleep with. She was good enough for him to sleep with.
Right, but you know, oh, that was something else. Okay, so say you effed up, but quit blaming her, cause if she wasn't shit when you chose to sleep with her, you still chose to do it. You chose to sleep with an ain't shit woman unprotected. So who really ain't shit? So, but we don't want to bear that burden because you know, dudes say, man, why you always trying to get women on your side? I said, no, I just want y'all to step up. I said, soon as I hear the magic phrase from a woman, I'm gonna jump on them. I said, I just need to hear 3 women tell me they want to be king and they want to be submitted to. Then I'm gonna jump they shit. But I ain't heard no woman say that. Most of them want to be helpmates. Most of them, even the alpha women, whatever that's supposed to mean, even the strong women want to assist a man. They want to help him because every time something happens to us, if we're honest about it, Cliff, we both. I did come from the projects.
Oh,
most neighborhoods had a big mama, but most neighborhoods had a big mama, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely.
How many neighborhoods had a big daddy?
Yeah.
Where was he? Where was he? And if they ain't got jobs, why ain't you around there protecting the neighborhood? And you know, these are the things that dig at me because I want us to be better because I truly know some great brothers. I know some of them personally. Other ones, like I watched this, and Michael and Samuel, they always got good positive comments. I ain't met these 2 brothers, but they don't go for the BS either. They don't go for it. So if all these brothers out there, they got this, it don't matter. It means it can be done. Do you want to do it? Man, I ain't got no money. You just bought a Hellcat. You got 12 pair of Jordans. What you mean you ain't got no money? You know, your Facebook page say you at the club every other weekend popping bottles. So you got disposable income because the bottle's $100 at the club, at the liquor store is $7.50. So you got money. Man, she don't know how to spend money. Okay, so tell me you got a checking account for your son, so a savings account, so when he turn 18, you can put some money to the side. And I told one dude, he's like, yeah, man, I'm finna go to court. What I need to do? I said, go on, open up a savings account and start putting money in there. So when the judge tell you, oh, you already got it. appear to be a responsible dad. While you're going through all this, if you're about that life, go ahead and just start the process. You can start putting money to the side because you know if the baby yours, you're going to have to pay. So just go ahead and start doing it. Man, how much you think I need to? Shit, just put $100. Man, that's a lot of money. Boy, you ain't never raised a damn child. If you think $100 a month is a lot, you ain't prepared for this. You ain't prepared for this. You think, man, how much diapers cost? Is that all you think babies need is diapers? Is that all you think? And you know, I was talking to a girl. This is why I wanted you on the show. And this girl came to me. She said, you know, D, you always talking about this. You always talking about that. I just got a question. You know, I met this guy. I like him. You know, I'm thinking, you know, he might be the one. I'm thinking I want to have his baby. And I said, okay, cool. That's what's up. You know, young love. I said, well, I thought you live with your mama. She said, I do. I said, where he lives? She's like, he stay with his mama too. I said, so do what you want to, but you wouldn't have a baby by a guy that don't have a roof over your head. And I get what you're saying, Cliff. He should be ready to marry her. But why in the hell would you have a baby with a guy who ain't got a place for you to stay?
And if he ain't got one, he ain't ready to marry you.
So,
or at least
if he ain't
even get one, should we say?
But he ain't even prepared to take care of you. So why are you having a baby with him when, you know, okay, yeah, 20-year-olds, 23-year-olds, all of them ain't ready to get married. But again, what's the urgency in having a baby so quick? You want to have the baby early so you can get into your career? Man. But where's the baby going to stay? Are you prepared to take care of the baby by yourself? She said, why you say that? I said, I hope everything work out, but you got to accept reality. There's a good chance he ain't going to be around. Ask these other women what their experiences have been so that you at least prepare for it. Some of them stayed, some of them got married, some of them didn't. But to have a baby, to me, for a woman to have a baby and not be prepared for the thought that she may have to take care of that baby means you really like you're living in a fantasy. You ain't prepared for worst case scenario because we notorious for walking out. Again, not all of us. I don't even think it's the bulk of us. And a lot of us, according to the stats, we try to stay in our baby's life, which is what most mothers are asking for. More than money, they want true support. They would prefer emotional and physical support versus financial support. If you go take care of your child, if you keep your child 3-4 nights a week so that she can get a good night's sleep without having to sleep with one ear open, listen for the baby crying, so that she can go get her hair and nails done, so that she can pamper herself like you doing, she would appreciate that more, and she's going to appreciate your $400-$500. Peace is priceless, but there's a price to pay for her having. Again, you raise your kids. How many times do you get a good night's sleep when you got babies? You can't. You can't. Every noise you hear, you wake up. You don't just count. You have to wake up every time you hear a sound.
Here's the thing. When you are really involved with your children, my youngest son is 26, 27. I still don't sleep like I don't have a care in the world. My last prayer is about my kids, and I thought I got 3 young black sons, 4. It's like when you start thinking about that, you start like, you know, when you're involved in their life, there's no getting away from it. And these mothers, man, parenting is a 24-hour job. There's no downtime. There's no holidays. There's no off days. There's no, get sick on demand. So I do it when I got leave, do it when I ain't got no project at work. And I agree with you. A lot of these mothers just want to follow it to show that level of support. But it go back to what we talked about earlier. Make an intellectual decision. If you can have a baby by a man that can't take care of himself and doesn't take care of himself, chances are he's not going to take care of you and that baby. That's simple math. You know what I mean? So before you go have a baby, you know, I always just say to my kids, look, don't be strong enough to raise her legs if you ain't strong enough to raise your child.
Yeah, and that's the one time I blame them. If he showed you he wasn't shit, why'd you still want to have this baby? You think having a baby is gonna make an ain't shit man a real man? It ain't. It's gonna make him an ain't shit daddy. I'm sorry, an ain't shit father, because that's the legal term. So you know, and this is where when I push the women, ladies, you got to start talking more to the girls about this. True, Sam, Michael, Cliff, we got to do better as fathers and talk to our girls about this. I know it's a conversation we don't want to necessarily have with our daughters. We don't want to talk about sex and stuff, but we got to make them understand that we know they may not be our friends, but we know guys personally who are ain't shit daddies. And we got to start holding them more accountable. One of the things I liked about Cliff's post, which is the same thing people hate about me, is they don't like when we call out dudes. They want us to just be on that same man versus woman thing. I'm a man. I know more about being a man than I do about what women go through. You know, when me and Trina talk, we always laugh. If I want to know what men really do, I got to ask Trina, because I ain't never dated no man. When she want to know what women really do, she got to ask me, because unless she can only speak for herself. But she's dated guys. I've dated women. I can tell you what they do. Forget what they say to be publicly acceptable. This is what's going on. And then as you get, like me and Cliff, we got experiences. We've been around dudes who talk that good game. Oh, I'm a good daddy. My wife won't, my baby mom won't do this. And we start seeing stuff. Then when you get to know something, they try to come up with excuses. Because they don't want to be ostracized. Because they ain't going to sit around us and say, man, I ain't paying no damn child support. Man, I ain't studying that woman. They're going to be like, I'm doing this, man. She blowing money. Let me see the receipt, bro. Let me see your checks. So let me see how much they taking out. Huh? They're taking out money, right? Oh, no, I give her cash. No, don't give her cash. I always give out a money order. So next time, give out the money order. Bring the receipts. Because I don't believe you now. You know, oh, I dropped off some diapers and some formula. You're the father. You're supposed to do shit. I'm not gonna pat you on the back for doing what you're supposed to. That's just like me saying, hey Cliff, did you pay your mortgage this month?
Right.
Oh, Cliff is the man, he paid his mortgage. Well, Cliff signed up for that mortgage shit. So he should be paying his mortgage. Why am I patting him on the back for that? I'm gonna give him a kudos when he pays somebody else's mortgage because he helping him out. But doing what he's supposed to do, there's no clap on the. You know, our mothers don't think they did nothing special. They did what they were supposed to do. We value it because we see how some other parents were. We've seen shitty mothers. We saw kids that we didn't want to live where they lived, but we don't know their circumstances. We know our mothers struggle, but we learn love in that process. And, you know, it's one of the things that, having been raised by a single mother, it was hard for me to disrespect single women with kids. Oh man, don't nobody want no woman with no child. No, say you don't want no woman with a child. Don't talk for the group. Just say what you want. Because I hate when people try to say, oh man, ain't no man gonna want this. You gotta be shitting me. Lots of men have married women with children. Lots of them. Lots of women have married men with children. So having a child does not devalue you. How you treat your child, how you raise your child may devalue you, but not having them simply doesn't do it.
Yeah, I'll say this. If the one thing I like about my Facebook page, I got a lot of strong black men that I know and a lot of strong black women. Man, on my page, there are probably literally thousands, and I don't know them all, of black women that were probably single mothers that are super, super, super successful. And I don't mean successful in they have a job. I mean successful in they're running multiple companies or corporations. So black mothers has been doing this a long time. There are black men doing their thing at the same time. I think what we got to get to is those black fathers who know what we should be doing and those black mothers that know what they should be doing is us trying to use our collective wisdom to get, you know, everybody on the same page as far as responsibility and not get out of this blame game of black women do this or black men do this and black versus saying, you know, let's come together, use our collective wisdom and make it good for everybody. Because, you know, I don't think any woman, you know, or too many women lay down and think, oh, I want to have this baby and endure all this, you know, drama I'm going to go through raising this child and trying to feed this child and trying to figure out how my dreams still work and do that by themselves. So hopefully people will listen to this and maybe some more dialogue will come out. And like I said, we'll come up with some solutions. That's what I love about social media. There's a lot of smart people on social media of all persuasions that can help sort of move these conversations forward. And I think that's what I want to really see out of social media, you know, but that's why they won't let you talk about 5,000 of your friends.
But that's why we do this, so that we can come up with solutions. Like I said, when we can sit back and show them brothers who have done this, You're not the exception. There are plenty of guys who've done this. Michael just said, I talked to my daughters as soon as they started their period, before they started dating or sexually active. I prepaid my son and daughter to be responsible and accept responsibility. And this is these are the uncomfortable conversations that we got to start having and making them the norm. Stop trying to scare them out of stuff. Stop trying, it didn't work for our parents. If we don't talk about it, maybe it won't happen. We got to know better, do better. 2023, ignorance is a choice. There is no reason for anybody to be ignorant because there ain't many things that you can't find out. Social media, sometimes all you got to do is ask a question. Just ask a question and sit back and watch the answers. You'll see who's stupid, but you'll see who has good ideas and you gravitate toward them. It's almost time for us to get ready to go. Cliff, where do you live? What state are you in?
Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in Maryland.
You got any closing remarks? Tell people how they can find you and follow your words of inspiration and don't let Cliff get y'all to divorce talking about leave your wife.
Yeah, I want to see that post because I'm gonna be honest.
I'm gonna find it and send it to you.
Yeah, because I try to stay from that D word, and so I'm assuming it was probably a joke because I don't recommend that to couples. That's the last thing I go. So I really want to see that one. I probably was just messing with you. I would say this: I'm on Facebook. We're going to launch. I'm going to launch my own men's podcast called Manhood Dialogue. Still on Instagram, on Twitter, trying to bring some of that stuff together, man. My goal for 2023 is really just to try to, get us to be better at taking care of us and helping us, and trying to use these social media platforms to really, just help us be better at what we can do and take care of each other and just try to live better lives and clean lives. So those who know me know they can find me on Facebook, or those phone numbers or email, things like that, they got them, man. I thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk to real men. We don't have to agree with each other to love each other. We don't have to always be in the same state to say we love and respect each other. I respect what we do. I respect your opinions. And if you ever need me, boy, I'm there. And whether it's the show, something behind the show, whatever it may be, bro, I believe in we each help each other, and it ain't about money, it ain't about fame. So if there's anything I can ever do to help you and support what you're doing, man, just let me know.
Oh, you on there. And y'all know I'm DVP. This is Random Thoughts with DVP. This is where we have uncomfortable conversations and try to come up with solutions. So follow Cliff, like I said, and let's stop blaming each other. Learn what your part in the equation was. Accept that responsibility. Accept that accountability, and figure out how you can change the scenario. You can't keep trying to change everybody else if you're going to keep doing the same dumb shit. At some point, you got to stop doing your dumb stuff, and then you can expect people to respond to that. Because sometimes you attract what you are. So if you keep attracting the same kind of person, you got to wonder what it is you're putting out there. But let's stop the blame game. The battle of the sexes, it's got to stop. It doesn't work for anybody. I'm going to have Cliff back. We're going to do some more stuff. Again, I'm going to get this PowerPoint together for y'all about how to get visitation if she won't let you. How to get custody if that's what you truly want. I'm going to get you a PowerPoint so you ain't got to memorize nothing that I'm saying. I'm going to share a lot of Cliff stuff. He's going to come back to the show, and we're going to talk some more about some more stuff. Y'all know we do this every Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mike, I got you. I got some stuff on home ownership coming up. I got a couple people who are going to talk about it, the pros and cons, who should and who shouldn't. Again, I want to thank Cliff for coming on and sharing 2 hours with me. I want to thank all y'all that participated. Y'all know how we do this. I would appreciate it at the kindness of my heart if y'all shared this show. If y'all tell people to come like the page so you can support me and it's free. This is all I need from y'all. I don't need no monetary donations unless y'all enjoy one of my Girl Scout cookies. My shameless plug for my daughter. We'll be back again next week. Until then, y'all know it's Random Thoughts with DVP. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease, and we out. Oh, Mel, take us home, Mel.